Hi everyone, it's Phil from Ashland Leather. I'm really excited to show you some made-to-order custom wallets that we're just about to polish up and pack and ship out. If you're not familiar with the Ashland Leather custom shop, you can just send over an email to info@ashlandleather.com with what your dream wallet would be, and then we can let you know if it's possible to make it. Let's start off first here with a really beautiful Bugs Moran in raw natural shell cordovan. If you're not familiar with this leather, this is the unpolished version of natural shell cordovan. So it does start off with a mild sheen to it, but it's nowhere near as bright and shiny as a normal piece of shell cordovan. The reason I like the raw natural is it gives you the most potential to develop a dramatic patina. On the inside, we've got some more raw natural, but this is a little bit more of like that epic natural texture on the left and right card holders and the great Horween ink stamp in the center. Up next is a great looking leather made out of football leather, and I don't know how much football leather I still have available. This is a beautiful piece right here with a white color hand stitching that really resembles the look of a football. This is our passport field notes holder in the Western texture, color number 8 Dublin leather. I love the Western textures, especially on this color 8 Dublin. It really makes that dark brown burgundy shade come through. It looks a little bit more of like a burnt cherry kind of color with this texture pressed into it. With the smooth version of the color 8 Dublin, sometimes it can appear a little bit dark. So I love what this texture is doing for us on the color number 8 Dublin. I also really like the inclusion of the gold foil baby Ashland stamp on the inside. There's something about the gold and burgundy together that really work. And here's another great piece. This is inverted shell cordovan, and this is inverted blue shell cordovan. So there's a couple different variations of the inverted shells. I think there's black, we've got ultraviolet, of course the blue right here, and the range of color is really interesting. It sort of ranges from a little bit of a darker navy blue to little bits of greener, more aqua blue, and then down to parts like right here that you can see that the dye has not touched. So that's appearing to be a little bit more like the natural shell cordovan color. This one has a contrasting baby blue color stitching along the outside, as well as on the inside, which I believe this is inverted black shell cordovan on the interior. Up next is another beautiful piece, Tony the Ant in natural shell cordovan. It will be a good chance for me to compare the raw natural next to the normal polished natural. You can see the difference in luster right there. Also the color. There's something about the polishing that is done on natural leathers that make them go a little bit more orange and red, like you can see here on this Tony the Ant. So we also have hand stitching on this one. It's a little bit more of a bold and chunky thread appearance when you have hand stitching. We charge a little bit extra for this effect as well. Up next is a vertical Bugs Moran, and I'm pretty sure this is garnet shell cordovan, the most red color of shell cordovan that Horween Leather makes. The garnet shell cordovan is really interesting because depending upon which angle you look at it, it can appear a little bit dark and more brown, and at other angles it's a little bit more vibrant, sort of like a reddish orange shade. Up next is our traditional Bugs Moran. This is the style that I prefer. Recently, more people have been preferring the vertical bugs like the garnet shell one we just looked at. The traditional Bugs Moran has 2 card slots on each side, and I find it to be a little bit easier to use when you stack 3 or 4 cards into each slot. That's why I like the traditional, because I'm carrying more cards. On the outside of this one is my favorite shell cordovan color, Amaretto shell cordovan. Very nice orangey tan shade. And on the interior, another great choice here with a reverse interior. I prefer how reverse cordovan wears in. I find it to be a little bit more easily polished up and filled in for an interior of a wallet. And I'll explain that a little bit further. If this was shell on the inside, when you close the wallet down and the wallet rubs around in your pocket, the shell will actually scratch itself. And I find those scratches on the shell to be a little bit more difficult to fill in and smooth out as opposed to the reverse shell, which I find much easier to maintain. Here's a beautiful Bugs Moran. And this one is really special for a few reasons. I think this is Western texture. Could be wrong here. I think this is whiskey, Western whiskey shell cordovan. Let's go with it. It's hard. It looks a little bit darker and more brown. It's hard to know what color this is, but it could be just a darker version of whiskey shell here. Sometimes the textures really transform the color, which I think is what's making me struggle here. The other interesting thing about this custom ordered Bugs Moran is there are only 2 card holders on the inside, and these are the larger 2 card holders. And we got a bunch of custom Frank the Enforcers. I believe this is hatch grain texture on cigar shell cordovan which is also really beautiful. We've got matching hand-stained cigar edges for this wallet, and then the traditional single thumb notch card slot on the back. Up next is a Frank the Enforcer in my favorite shell cordovan color, Amaretto shell cordovan. You can see the hand-stained edges to match on this one. It's a little bit more of an orangey tan shade. And we also have a few custom ordered vertical Frank the Enforcers. Now this one I'm pretty sure is either violet or ultraviolet shell cordovan. Sometimes a little difficult for me to tell. But the violet is more of a straightforward purple shade, where the ultraviolet sometimes has a little bit more pink tones to it. I'm kind of leaning now towards ultraviolet on this guy. So the vertical card slots on the front, we have 2 card slots here with a hidden card slot underneath there. There's a larger section in the center that's similar to our normal Frank the Enforcers. This will fit US dollars folded in half. And then the back of this custom ordered Frank the Enforcer, we have 2 of our traditional card holders. Up next is another vertical Frank the Enforcer. I think this is garnet shell cordovan or a really light color 4. Sometimes those colors kind of appear similar, but it's a very beautiful shade. Here's a look at the back side of this one. So we can modify the Frank the Enforcer in a few different ways. This one's made with 1, 2, 3 card slots on the front, 1 in the back, and then 1 large center section. And here is a third way that you can customize the card slots on the vertical Frank the Enforcer. So we've got natural shell cordovan, 2 verticals on the front, 2 verticals on the back with the 1 larger section in the center. The customization here with the vertical slots on both sides can get a little bit thicker because we are using that many layers of leather. Up next is our latest wallet design. This is the Lucky wallet, and we've got a few people that have been waiting around for a bit to have these made. We're really excited to get these polished up and shipped off today. So here's one in natural shell cordovan. We have the bill slot opening on the right side of this one. A lot of people have been requesting that. We are able to do it on request. Up next is my favorite color combo, the black and teal. So we've got black Dublin on the outside that flaps closed onto the teal horsehide latigo on the inside. And here's a beautiful one. This is reverse blue shell cordovan. I think this is actually reverse raw denim with some really nice splatter and then a matching hand stitch along the outside and sort of like a pea green stitching. Very beautiful Lucky wallet here. And here's another one. I'm pretty sure this is garnet shell cordovan. Some of the garnet shell cordovan is appearing a little bit darker at some angles, and then as you tilt it, it gets really, really red. And sometimes I confuse it for color 4, if I'm honest. So this is either color 4 or garnet. Pretty sure it's garnet on this one. And the customer here has also identified a couple spots where they would like some custom stamping. So we've got the Horween shell cordovan stamp, hot stamped on the inside, and then the Ashland stamp on the outside. And then to round it off, we've got 2 Lucky wallets in green shell cordovan. This one is stitched with the bill slot on the left, and we've got green shell cordovan on the back side. This one is machine stitched with a matching green thread. And then the next one is also green shell cordovan, but we have a contrasting cream color hand stitching, and then the bill slot opening on the right. So sort of similar, but totally different Lucky wallets, both in green shell cordovan. And we'll bring in the big boys. They got some Herbies and passport holders, as well as a lighter and lighter sheath. This one is a beautiful piece of marbled cigar shell cordovan. Here's one of our traveler passport holders in black shell cordovan. Another black shell cordovan piece here. This is the Bugs Moran, but with 2 single large card slots on the inside. It's interesting to see 2 of these today. And here's a Tony the Ant. I think this is color 4 garnet. I think this is color 4 shell cordovan for this one. And this is a beautiful looking Tony the Ant. Nice matching hand stained edges. And we're getting on to my favorite wallet style here. This is the Fat Herbie. On the outside, we've got, I believe this is either garnet or color 4. Again, this one looks to be more like color 4, a little bit less red in the color 4. And then on the inside, we have a reverse interior, and something magical about the waxed and burnished edges on this piece. I love how it frames out the border of this wallet. Up next is a beautiful piece of Amaretto shell cordovan. Again, this is my favorite shell cordovan color. I really appreciate that bright, vibrant, orangey tan shade. It's a little bit more interesting than natural, but kind of similar. I just think it has a little bit more life in the Amaretto color. And we've got another Herbie here with a reverse interior. Great choice. On the outside, this is natural shell cordovan. So natural with the reverse interior, other than the raw natural, is just about as good as you can get for patina. And the last wallet of the day is our passport field notes holder. We've got reverse color 8 shell cordovan on the exterior with the natural shell cordovan on the interior. I left out this Bugs Moran here because I might have to pick this one. This one is my confusing stunner of the day. because I'm not actually certain which color this is. I hope I'm right in saying that it's whiskey. But I really like how the 2 card slots on the inside of this guy turned out, especially with that texture and the depth of color. Really beautiful piece here. I can't wait for you guys to have all of your custom ordered wallets. And if you're looking to get a custom wallet of your own, maybe something like this natural shell cordovan Tony the Ant, hand stitched with the blue thread, you can definitely send over an email to info@ashlandleather.com. Just send over what your dream wallet is, and we can sort of work backwards from there to let you know what our leather availability is, or maybe what kind of thread colors we have. Thanks so much for checking out the video today. Let me know which of these wallets was your favorite. Maybe it was this hand-stitched football of Tony the Ant. Beautiful piece as well. Until next time, I hope you have a good one, and take care.